Hey guys, here we are. This time I'm going to be doing another top 5 video, and as it says in the title, this is the top 5 Nintendo games, the NES system. It's been called the NES, it's been called a lot of things. It is probably one of the greatest systems ever made, by far. Only 8-bit, blah blah blah, bits or where it's at. I don't care about that. This system right here, I actually own 3 of them. I don't have the top loader. I always wanted a top loader. Probably one of the greatest systems. This one here, there is 800 plus. I want to say, what was it, 830 something maybe? I don't even remember off the top of my head. Licensed and unlicensed games. There's a couple of unlicensed companies that jumped in. I know Spiritual Trees is probably one of the biggest ones that a lot of people know, because of like their different, like the religious ones. I actually own 2 of them. I own Spiritual Warfare and King of Kings. If you watched some of our earlier videos that we did, actually have it on one of our big finds. I found it at a pawn shop. Overpaid them. Well, actually, I got them for what they're about worth. So, I think like $8 a piece or something like that. But anyway, my top 5 video tonight with the Nintendo. So let's just jump into this. I want to start off, because this system had so many titles, and so many great titles, especially for the time. I really loved this system. And I'm going to go off only top 5s that I own, but it has to have some honorable mentions, even with the titles that I do own. I have about 57, I think, 57 NES games right now. I'm not really collecting NES right now because of the big retro hype right now. There's a lot going on. The prices have skyrocketed, so I just don't like. I'm just kind of seeing if it's gonna either level out or maybe start going down a little bit, because some of the games I think are kind of ridiculously priced for how super common they are. I have overpaid. I'm not gonna lie, I have even overpaid on some games, and actually I'll show you a couple of those. But a bunch of them are either from my original collection from when I was growing up, or my mom used to help clean out storage lockers. So, and they just say, you know, your fee is whatever's in there. And my mom would keep the shit that she wants, and then she'd give me pretty much all the video game stuff. So I'm like, okay, cool. So that's actually what really got me into collecting, you know, really getting into collecting video games. The nostalgic is awesome. Being able to share it with my son, which is another big thing, because it's kind of the thing, me and him are both very passionate about our video games. And so, you know, I really hope you guys are really enjoying our videos and stuff when you watch them. We actually enjoy doing them. So they might not be a whole lot right now, and obviously you can tell with our production still shit. We're still using little cameras and stuff, but this is a top 5 video, so I'm not going to get into that. Maybe with me and Mikey will talk about that later, and like one of our next big episodes that we do. But I do want to say we're going to do one more episode, and then we're going to be going to the Midwest Retro Gaming Convention up in Milwaukee. So we're, you know, if you see this and you're going to be there, look for us. Just say hi. It's not a big deal. And also, we really hope we kind of, you know, maybe see some other YouTubers, or even, you know, we're hoping for some good deals. Just have fun. You know, it's a father-son trip that, you know, me and him get to do. So we're really looking forward to it. Just sitting there constantly saving money every little bit is just like going right into the savings account. So we're really looking forward to it. So I want to say this, and I say this a lot. Without further ado, here we go. Honorable mentions first. And some people are probably going to be wild about some of these honorable mentions. Because if you watched a lot of the videos, like the Angry Video Game Nerd, his very first video was about this one, Simon's Quest. I love this game. Probably more for the nostalgic of it. I've talked about this before in one of our videos. This game here, probably one of my favorites, definitely in the top 10 favorites. Mostly because I'll never forget, my mom had to work. I was actually living with my grandma's at the time. I went to go stay at my mom's. It was Christmas time. And as corny as it sounds, I remember sitting there playing this by the light of the Christmas tree. I was probably about 13, 14 years old, and just fell in love with this game. I never got to play the first Castlevania at the time, and this was the only one the video store had, and I rented it, played it. I was like, this is really cool. It's a different type of game. Yes, I got stuck in it. I really hated when it turned from night to day all the time, but it was one of those games. You bought all this stuff, and you're trying to upgrade your whips and stuff. It was different. It was definitely different for its time. So when you compare it to games that you've played nowadays, this was pretty in depth, I thought. So definitely an honorable mention. I love this game. Next one. How this one did not make my top 5. You'll see after it, especially with being hockey fans that we are, and I'm very sure you can already guess what it is. Blades of Steel. This game, I remember I've traded it off a couple times, and I finally got it back. I think I only paid like $3 for it. Great game. Probably one of the best hockey games, period, for anything for the Nintendo in that era. They had the little voice active, Blades of Steel. Love this game. Until I figured out how to do it. You could easily score goals by just running along the bottom of the boards. Goalie will follow down, the arrow goes up, you shoot, you'll win. The fighting system in it was really cool. And even in the middle of between the second and third period, there'd be like a little R-Type or Gradius little game you sit there and shoot and stuff. Some of those things I just never forget. So another big favorite game right there, Blades of Steel. And remember, these are just honorable mentions. This one's going to be one that everybody's going to be like, wow. An honorable mention, this should be like number 1. It's not for me. I loved this game, but just probably not as much as like everybody else did. Super Mario 3. This was a great game. Don't get me wrong. I loved it. I played it a lot. I think my little sister probably played it more than I did. But by the time Mario 3 came out, I was starting to get a little burnout on the platformers, and honestly, Mario. It was cool with the raccoon suit. Obviously, everybody knows, the raccoon tail and ears. Then there was a Tanuki suit where you actually looked like a whole raccoon. It was all around. It was a really good platform, and I do play it every once in a while, like on my Game Boy. I got the Game Boy Advance one of it, and I'll play it and stuff. And so don't get me wrong, it's not a bad game by any means. Otherwise, it wouldn't even be an honorable mention. It was still a very, very great game. Actually, kind of fun two-player. You can either play the original Mario game if you get on, if you guys are like on top of each other on the world map, and you just push a button, you can play that. Me and my son have done that many times. Going through and just seeing who can get the most M's or L's, Mario's or Luigi's on the on the levels. But still, I don't know. There was a lot of cool stuff for this game here. There's a lot in this little cartridge. There was a lot to this game. And again, actually, I just played it last night on my DS, my DS Lite. So, again, that's probably my number 1 honorable mention out of all 3. So, it was a very good game, just not my favorite. Now, to the top 5. My own little sound effects, since I'm actually using Michael's iPod because I broke my phone. It's got a shattered screen and I had tape over the whole thing. And when I went to go look at it, it was like, I can't see it, so it's all blurry. And so I'm using this little itty bitty iPod, so the camera's even worse. But so I got some lighting here and here, so kind of hopefully can see better. And this is probably going to be a better looking video. But anyway. Now on to number 5 that I own, that I love. And this one here, I have had probably the most... If I have downtime, I'll play it. Because it is just one of those games you can pick up, you can play a game, and you can quit playing. Super Dodgeball. Fun. That's all it is. It's just dodgeball. You just sit there and just whip balls at each other, and it's just fun. This one here, I rented this game along with Simon's Quest. So this was another one by the lights of the Christmas tree. Just an iconic game to me. every time, because this was actually, I actually went out and bought this. A lot of my games, like I said, I either had from when I was a kid or, you know, from the storage units. This one here, I actually went out and sought after. I mean, I went out and looked for this. So, this one, love. The other games, actually, the only one I bought out of the 3 honorable mention ones I bought was Blades of Steel. The other 2 were actually Mario I had from when I was a kid, and Simon's Quest was in storage unit. So, now number 4. This one here, people are going to be like, really? Number 4, because of the difference in it compared to 1 and 3, Super Mario Bros. 2. I love this game. It didn't have Bowser. It was Wart. Anybody knows this game. It's actually, technically, was not Super Mario Bros. 2. Super Mario Bros. 2 is actually Super Mario Lost Levels on the Super Nintendo All-Stars. Mario All-Stars. This one here was a different game altogether. You're supposed to be in a dream state and this and that. I love the boss fights in them. Every boss was different. It wasn't Bowser. It wasn't a Bowser kid. It was like Mouser. There was that weird 3-headed snake. The Hydra looking thing. There was, then at the very end, there was more different bosses. But then at the very end, like, was it 7 levels, I think? Shit, I don't even remember now. It's been a while since I've actually got to play this. But was Wart, which was a big old frog-looking thing. I liked it. It was different, and you got to play Mario, Luigi, Toad, or Princess. So when you had like all the different sets, and all of them had like different jumps, they could pick up different fast, this, that. I really loved this game. And this one here, I actually own. This is the cartridge and the manual. I actually I bought this off of somebody. It was kind of a big package deal. I bought this and Mario Paint. And I thought something else. Shadows of the Empire. I paid like $35 for all of them. So, but this one here is number 4 on my top 5 list for NES games. Like you need a reminder of what you're watching. Number 3, a lot of hours put into this bad boy. Ooh, a lot of hours. I play this on my PSP still to this day. I don't think I have it for the DS anymore. I did have it for the DS. I think I just traded it off because I'm not really collecting DS games. I had a good trade-in value on it, so. And I actually have this on my phone. I have it on my PSP. And this one here is one that I actually overpaid for. I didn't overpay for it, but I went out, found it, saw it, bought it. I paid probably, I think it was like 20 or 25 bucks. That is the very, very first Final Fantasy. And look at how crispy that freaking, looks better in real life. But it's just got a beautiful gloss on it. As you can see me in there twice. Because that's how like reflective that is. It is just really beautiful. I don't know a lot about, I did notice something weird. The back has a gold sticker on it, which I found was kind of weird because most of them are gray. But either way, I had to have this. When I saw it, I knew I had to have it. So this one here is, I put so many hours into this game. This game here is the reason why this is actually a little fun fact. The reason why this is called Final Fantasy, that the creator from Square actually threw out one last game because he was going bankrupt. Who'd have thought that now this is still one of the biggest franchises 20 plus years later. So good job on that one. Great game. I love all the different. This one here I think is better than any of them as far as the story goes, or I shouldn't even say the story, as far as the character creation, because you actually can pick. If you want to be a fighter, you want to be this, you want to be that, you want to be. And then after this, when it came to 2, either 2 for us or 2 for Japan, was you were immediately jumped into you're playing as this person. Period. This one here, you pretty much had to make your own characters. I love that about this game. Such a great game. It was huge. I remember, I think it took me like, 50, like, I knew it was over 50 hours, and it was under 60. It was like 53, 54 hours to actually go through and beat this, because back then in the day, you either had Nintendo Power or you had nothing. We didn't have the internet, so this game here was the shit, and it was hard as fudge. So, fudge isn't really hard, it was kind of soft and mushy, but you know what I was going with. I was trying to keep that G-rated, PG at least. So, but if you've never even played this, and you've played something like Final Fantasy 7s or 10s and stuff, pick this up, buy it on your phone. I think it's like $10 on your phone, or like in the iStore or whatever. I recommend it. Such a great game. Play it. You haven't played a game until you played this. That's just mine. You'd think that was my number one the way I talked about it. Number two. Keep the pinky down. This game here, I didn't overpay for it, but I paid a lot for it. I paid probably somewhere around, I want to say 25 to 30 for it. This game here, another one I even have on my phone because I like it that much, and I have the anniversary collection for the whole series. I play this a lot. I love this game. I've gotten Mikey to start playing it. He loves it. I've got so many memories behind this game with, I'll never forget, my brother used to go down to this gas station that also rented video games and movies. He knew somebody who worked there, so he'd go down, sit, and he told me one time, he was like, hey, I'll bring you back a game, I think I don't know if I was in trouble or if it was a little later at night. Again, I was like 13 or 14. I used to go down with him every once in a while and visit with him, but he's like, I don't remember why it was, but he's like, I'll bring you back a game. He brings this back. My first introduction to Mega Man 2. This was another one, came really close to being my number one game. One, because my brother has passed away now, and it's just one of those memories that I always have of him. But the biggest, as far as the game-wise goes, it is probably one of the best games I've ever played, one of. And, with the memories behind it also, it kind of gives that, it tugs at my heart a little bit. So when I saw this one, you want to talk about, I knew I had to have it. It was a definite, the first time and only time I've seen it since. And I saw it, and it just immediately brought me back to that as a kid, popping it in my NES after my brother brought it home. And I just sat there and I played it. I think we could run it for like 2 days. I pretty much played it for 2 days straight. I loved this game. It's one of those things. I've got a connection with my brother with it because he hated video games. I'm telling you, he hated them. He would always yell at me, "Dude, go outside, go." The typical shit that your parents would normally say, but my brother was saying it. My older brother, he was 10 years older than me, and he was always, he'd rather me be outside working on a car with him or on my bike, or even though I did all those things too. But this here is one of those. I've got that memory with him with this game because he actually surprised me by bringing it, picking me up a game. So I've told this story before in one of our older videos, but this one here, not only is it hard, it's fun to play. I recommend it. Obviously I've got the personal side to this, but I also have just a fun enjoyment in this game. All the different guys, like you had to beat Flash Man in order to beat Quick Man, because if you remember you had a Flash Man stop timer to get through the maze of Quick Man's. Was it Bubble Man? It was against, was it Flame Dude, whatever the hell his name was. And it's sad because I just played this actually on my phone. If you play it on the iPhone, it's only like $2 or something like that. But you put it on easy, yeah, it's easy. It's almost a little too easy. I think I've only got 2 guys left, and I haven't had it very long. So I was kind of like bummed about that, but I've got the original now, and having the original just makes it even better. So I shouldn't even have to say I recommend this.
everybody should already be playing this. This is a great game. The second one is probably the best. I do have 4 also. Those are the only 2 Mega Mans I do have. Other than I do have the Anniversary Collection. But I recommend big time. And I am already at 20 minutes into this. So I apologize for how long these always take. I always got stories behind these things. So now for number 1. Number 1. This was a game that honestly should be on everybody's at least top 5 list. If it's not number 1, it should be up there. It is, again, this is a game that I own. This would probably be a number 2 for me. If I own Zelda, I do not own Zelda. Believe it or not, I do not own Zelda as much as I love that game. Goes back to the reasons why. Let me get to the game first, and I'll talk about that. This game here, I remember sitting in my cousin Tony is like my brother. He's me and him have been close for a long time, probably a good 25 years. He's about 4 years older than I am, so we always had a closer knit because he had no brothers or sisters, and I was always around. But he would go out and rent games and stuff with his friends, and he kind of let me tag along. I was kind of like that little brother, so I've always been great for that. But this game I'll never forget, sitting down in his basement with his little tiny bedroom, where it was just a bed. Right in front of you was his chest of drawers, a TV, and his Nintendo. And it's like 3 of us like piled up on the bed, sitting there, watching. Usually me watching him and his friend play, but watching it was always great. Then I turn around. Like my uncle, who didn't play video games ever, a different uncle that's not, in relation to that side, but my uncle on my mom's side, that was on my dad's side, uncle on my mom's side, him and his cousin would go out and rent a Nintendo just to play this game. And they did like every Friday for a good 2 months. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, if you add it up, 2 months worth, they could have bought a Nintendo by then, but they didn't. Either way. So I sit there and watch them play it. And when they get done playing, it's like, you want to play? Go ahead. But they would always play it, and I'd sit there and watch and just be like mesmerized at this game. You guys are probably going, what the fuck is he talking about? What game is this? What game is this? Well, a game that to this day I still say I overpaid for because it's a very common game, but it is the supply on it. The supply and demand on it, the demand on it outweighs the supply. And when I found it, another one that I knew I had to have it. Contra. This game, man, the Konami code, everything. You can walk into any video game store and start going up, up, down, down. There's going to be somebody who finishes the code for you. And that actually happened to us one time. We were sitting there, some lady's like, yeah, the code was up, up, left, right. And I was like, no, up, up, down, down, left, right. And then Mikey turns around and goes, A, B, start. I mean, it was just like that. He, without a beat, me and him, got it right away. And she's like, wow, even somebody that young knows it. Because that's how passionate we are about our video games. This game here, from start to finish, one of the best games ever made. You had the side scroll, first level. Second one, you're going up. All the bosses were different. There was, as far as gameplay goes, best game ever made. That I own. Remember, number 1 would actually be Zelda to me if I owned it, but I do not own it. And this game was just so cool. I remember we all looked at it as like, is that supposed to be Rambo and Arnold Schwarzenegger? Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger. If you look at them, you kind of wonder if it is. Everybody thought about it. This is one game I wish they would have made a movie on because the story is awesome with the alien invasion and everything. So definitely a recommendation. Number 1 game for me at all times that I own. And now this is the reason why I do not own Zelda. For the number 1, probably one of the number 1 biggest selling games of all time, which means there's millions out there. And I think I looked up one time, I think it's like 20-some million copies of Zelda. We're talking gold cartridge, gray cartridge, all around. The cheapest I have found it is $25. I will not pay $25 for a game that is. There's that many out there. That's about like saying that's how many Mario games are out there, and I can find the first Mario for $4 or $5. That's what I should be able to find Zelda for. Can't. It bothers me. So I do it best with just some stretch. But I got it on this, so I play it. I got it on that, so that's how I play it. I bought this pretty much so I could play it. I don't even have it for my Game Boy Advance yet, and I've been looking for it. I haven't even been able to find it. And the one place I did find it, the gold cartridge, was at this pawn shop that I've had bad luck with. Everything I've bought from him has seemed to have been broken or really bad condition. So I won't buy from him anymore. I actually quit buying from him. I'm not here to bash anybody, but his products suck. I won't even say where it is or anything, but I have a problem with that. So this was my top 5. NES, Nintendo, NES, and all this other, whatever they call them now. Nintendo Entertainment System is still one of the best systems of all time. From the little gamepad to the Zapper, which I didn't have any Zapper games in there. That's weird. So I have a couple of them, and I really like them, but these games outdid them. They had the Power Pad. Power Pad sucked, but this system, I'll never forget when I got it for Christmas. Me and my sister, it was the joint Christmas present. And me and her both played it very, very much, just like we normally would. So this system right here, #1 system, probably in my book, of all times. Nintendo's always been a great company. So I hope you like my videos. I don't know if I said it at the beginning of this or not, but we are on Facebook. Obviously, we're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. You can just search us. I'll try to put a link on here. We are also on Twitter. It's John and Mike. I think it's the Dad and Son Retro Duo, I believe is what it is. I'll try to find the link for that, put it on here. And we are also now on Instagram, which is Father and Son Retro Duo. The spaces are underscores. You can find us on there. So, hope you enjoy everything, and like he says, boom, 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 boom. There you are. Keep gaming.